I've recently turned 30, so here are 30 things I've learned through life up until this point. Number 1, chances are you are not the smartest person in the room, and if you believe you are, then it's time to change rooms. Number 2, the person who talks the most is generally not the person who knows the most. Number 3, money buys opportunities. Things such as being able to go on vacation, go to trade shows, start businesses, and so forth. Number 4, your mental health is finite. Take care of it, so later down the road, it can take care of you. Number 5, saying no is completely normal and you should never feel bad about it. Otherwise, you're sacrificing your own boundaries for the benefit of someone else. Number 6, getting a no is completely normal. And especially if it feels like sales, no is the first answer you're going to get. Pushing past no and other objections is important, but it's also important to keep in mind that you need to be doing it in a respectful way of keeping in mind the other person's boundaries. Number 7, one bad client is not worth the money if it means breaking up your team and you already have other clients who are fulfilling necessary needs, whether you're running a business or anything like that. Number 8, a strong foundation's purpose is not to create immediate strong results. A strong foundation's purpose is to ensure that later down the road, you don't have to retroactively change things in a very costly way or putting yourself to some kind of trouble that you could have honestly taken care of, prepared for at the very beginning. Number 9, perfectionism is a performance killer. It's important to provide something on deadlines rather than keeping something in edit limbo forever. Number 10, you can gamify statistical activities. For instance, if you reach out to 100 people for potential clients and you hear back from 5 of them, and you see that as a general trend when you're reaching out, then you can go ahead and gamify in your mind that, hey, you might go through 95 before getting your 5 yeses, and it allows you to kind of tackle those initial 95 in a far easier way without it really kind of bringing you down. Number 11, just because it makes sense to you does not mean it makes sense to the other person. Everyone thinks differently. Everyone has different levels of wisdom, experience, and so forth. And so it's important to understand that when communicating with others, especially because, again, just because you have information and you're like, hey, I know what to do here, it doesn't mean the other person has the same information or understanding from past experience. Number 12, your peers are not your clients. You can go to places like ArtStation to potentially get work, but ultimately there's a reason why so many designers flock to LinkedIn in general. It's a place where potential clients are hanging out at. And between going to peers and going to clients, if your peers are also trying to get paid as well, then, at the end of the day, you kind of just want to go to where the clients are, not where your peers are. Number 13, a great team member is worth a handful of mediocre ones. You waste more time by going cheaper and hiring essentially a whole bunch of underqualified individuals to do something rather than getting someone who is extremely good at it and understands what needs to get done and how to do it, and just kind of letting them go. Number 14, no one has all the answers. Anyone who claims they do is either ignorant, scamming you, or trying to sell you a class. Number 15, the people who are the best at what they do not care about you buying into their mindsets. They're too busy being the best at what they do. Number 16, what works for you may not work for others. Again, everybody has their own experience, unique perspectives, and so forth. People who are really good at helping others succeed tend to understand this. Number 17, empathy is a two-way street. Claiming that you know how to empathize with someone does not actually mean you empathize with them. They have to be able to accept your empathy and your degree of empathy and acknowledge that, hey, this person can't empathize with me, for your empathy to really be there. I think of it like playing catch. You're throwing the ball to the other person and you're saying, hey, I empathize with you, and they have to catch the ball. For instance, if I'm in a car wreck and someone else is in a car wreck, they have lost their leg and I have sprained my ankle, and I say, hey, I can empathize with you, I was in a car wreck as well. They can say, okay, great, but your life did change completely and now your whole way of moving around is different. So therefore, no, you cannot empathize with me. Number 18, people do confuse empathy with sympathy. Number 19, make a priorities list. It's important to understand that throughout life, your priorities will change and you want to keep that list updated. It's also important to keep that list on hand. So if one priority or something begins to creep onto your priority and take a little bit more attention than other things on your list, then you can kind of review and say, hey, does it make sense to continue doing what I'm doing here? Do I need to kind of align myself to focus on like new priorities, or do I need to go ahead and kind of de-escalate other priorities to not be as much of a focus? Number 20, you work to live, you do not live to work. Number 21, have you ever heard the phrase grass is greener on the other side? Don't get me wrong, there is greener grass out there for sure, but every grass patch or backyard or whatever is gonna kind of have their own issues. So it's important to investigate before hopping the fence to kind of understand, what are the issues on the other side, just so you're prepared for them. Number 22, follow the money. That money trail never lies about a person's intentions, activities, and so forth. Number 23, if you ain't paid, you ain't an employee. Doesn't matter what someone says, if you're not on the payroll, you are not employed there. Number 24, birds of a feather flock together. Surround yourself with people that you want to learn from and become better with. Also keep in mind that the people you surround yourself with, you can sometimes pick up traits and mindsets from them. Number 25, include everyone in the discussion. You would be surprised by the people who are quiet, that once you invite them into discussions and get them engaged in the community or activity or so forth, how much value they can really bring to the table with their insights. Number 26, time does not stop. If you want to do something within your capabilities, go ahead and do it. You don't want to wait 5-10 years and then look back and your regret is you didn't start sooner or you just didn't start at all. Number 27, luck is not something that just falls in your lap. It's about seeing an opportunity and understanding how to navigate it to achieve an outcome. Number 28, connections open doors, but generating value is how you get through the doorway. Number 25, always be delivering value. It doesn't have to be some massive deliverable or even intentional, but it's important that no matter what, you're always delivering value in any kind of conversation or anything like that. And lastly, number 30, thank people for their time. If someone's willing to give you their time, a finite resource in their life, then it's important to thank them for it because, hey, it's a valuable gesture that they provided you. They said, hey, I only have so long to live in life, but I want to give you some of my time to kind of interact with you. So those are some of the things I've learned up until this point in my life as I've got to the age of 30. So let me know in the comments, what's something that you learned in your life so far? And let me know if there's anything on this list that surprised you or that you kind of took away from this that you plan to implement into your life.